Hello and welcome to another classic review from the Hot Dog and a Handshake Pro Wrestling Show here from Topeka, Kansas in the Sound Peak Studios. I am Shane Price, joined by the original host, Jayden McGuinness.
Hello.
Up next, we got another old school review from the year, I don't know why I said old school, that makes me feel really old, the year 2008, the year before I got into wrestling. We have Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor 6 live from the Hammerstein Ballroom in August 2nd, 2008.
Mm-hmm. So the show from New York City, classic venue,
Iconic venue, one of the best in wrestling history.
Who was on commentary? I forgot to write down.
Dave Prazak and I forgot what his name was.
Lenny something.
Lenny. I don't let.
Is it Lenny Leonard?
Yeah, it's Lenny Leonard. I think so.
Yeah, Lenny Leonard.
It's somewhere on there, but Dave Prazak and Lenny on commentary, kind of the old school Ring of Honor guys. Dave Prazak's still around. Used to be running Shimmer. That closed down. Now just does commentary for like GCW.
Kind of an independent commentator.
Basically more independent guy now.
Mm.
So the show immediately starts with an old Nigel McGuinness promo with the really dumb hair, talking about how he's gonna fight Claudio, Bryan Danielson, and Tyler Black for the main events, and goes on how he's a champion, how he'll still be a champion at the end of the show, even though they're sending all these guys at him at the same time. So then we get into the actual venue.
Wait. Fans of AEW who go back and watch this show, if you guys find it, Nigel calls Bryan Danielson a clam digger all the way back in 2008.
Oh, so there's some.
He's been doing this for a while.
History.
Yeah.
History.
I knew there was like a wrestling history, but the fact that he's been using the same insult 16 years later is awesome.
Stick to your character, Nigel. I like
exactly.
it. So then we go into the venue. We get the introduction of the ring announcer and the referees, Rick Knox and Todd Sinclair.
No, it's Paul Turner and Todd Sinclair.
Paul Turner and Todd Sinclair.
Different AEW
Rick
referee.
Knox is the PWG ref. My mistake.
Yep.
A fan calls Todd Sinclair some words that were picked up very loudly on the microphone.
Oh, I didn't catch this.
Really?
No. I caught them booing the referee announcement, which is a very New York sports thing to do.
I could swear on here, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
He calls Todd Sinclair a fat piece of shit.
Oh, nice.
So, very New Yorker.
Yep.
And let's get ready to our first match here. The Briscoes, Jay and Mark Briscoe, who we just had a little funny thing in our episode we just recorded. Our draft episode.
Yeah.
I forgot that you couldn't pick the Briscoes because Jay sadly passed away a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Like Joka not knowing whatever, right?
This is Joka's first Briscoes match. Like, I understand why you want to pick him.
Yeah.
But me, that's a little...
So you should know.
I'm embarrassed, and I'm kind of sad.
We talked about it on a former version of this podcast.
Yeah.
So, anyway, to this match in 2008.
They take on the Vulture Squad of Jigsaw and one of my personal favorites from this time period, Ruckus.
I had not seen either of these guys wrestle before this.
Jigsaw I have, but Ruckus I have.
I did. So I keep track of all my star ratings and stuff. There are 10 guys on this show that I'd never given a star rating to before.
It's pretty incredible.
So I think these two were definitely part of that.
So my first note is I remember reading about the Briscoes in like 2011 and like PWI, them being like the top tag team in wrestling, and about their failed WWE tryout. I couldn't see them being WWE. I could not.
They're just not the right kind of act.
They really
especially
aren't.
For 2008 WWE. Like we're transitioning into PG at this point, right? So like, yeah, that just doesn't work. But also you can see it in the match, but you can also see it in a couple promo segment or backstage segments later. Same guys all the way through.
Oh no,
careers.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is like you watch Mark Briscoe now. You watch Mark Briscoe on AEW now. You go back and watch Mark Briscoe in Ring of Honor. It's the same guy.
Yeah. My next note is Ballin', because the Vulture Squad used that Jim Jones song that whenever I hear it, I just go, I have to go Ballin', because that is the most iconic line from it. Crowd was very much for the Briscoes. They start by shaking hands, a la the Honor Code, and it starts with some really good wrestling from Mark and Jigsaw. I always thought that Mark's been underrated as a wrestler. Because when you think of the Briscoes, he's usually been Jay, because he got the world titles, the singles runs. He wrestled in the Tokyo Dome by himself, so he's the one. It was kind of becoming, he would be the Shawn Michaels to Mark's Jannetty, They were never going to split up.
I say, and Mark would have never fallen. It would have been more like the Jeff Hardy to Mark's Matt Hardy.
I guess, yeah. That's more of a good point.
Because it never would have. Because Matt never completely fell off the face of the earth the way Jannetty did.
But also keep in mind that Mark and Jay were never going to split up.
Never going to split up.
Not a chance. And a surprisingly high action here when Jigsaw hits a suicide dive. This is later on in the match, but he's a suicide dive, and Ruckus gets out of the way, so he just hits the Briscoes, and then Ruckus hits a backflip from the top rope onto the floor.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Athlete.
And then and another cool move here is that Mark counters a flip double stomp from Ruckus into a roll up. I really like that.
Mm-hmm. It looks smooth.
And then the Briscoes won via a very cool move, the springboard doomsday device.
Mm-hmm.
I give it 3.5 stars.
I give it 3. It was action packed, but ultimately it was pretty short. And Jigsaw and Ruckus did get some stuff in, but it felt pretty one-sided.
I think it was always going to be.
Yeah, so it's the opening match on a Ring of Honor show from 08. Like
it's the opening match. The Briscoes are coming back from Mark's injury. They're the Ring of Honor guys. Ruckus is a CCW guy, so
I know. So it was never going to be the Young Bucks versus Kenny and Hangman. Like it's just a solid match. So.
And Sweet and Sour Incorporated comes out. That'd be Larry Sweeney, Chris Heroes, Eddie Edwards, and a guy named Bobby Dempsey, who is
interesting
the most
character,
ridiculous looking character in this entire show.
Yeah, wearing like a
silver metal jumpsuit.
Yeah, it looks like a silver silky jumpsuit and like a big like bleach blonde afro.
It was weird. It was really weird. So the first match involving Sweet and Sour Incorporated was Delirious against Chris Hero.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I had this really funny feeling that we're going to see a lot of these guys tonight. And I checked the cage match, and I was right.
Yeah.
It's like the whole first hour of the show is these guys.
Yeah.
So it starts with Delirious just jumping out, just like going under the ring and jumping out onto the top of the rope and diving on the entire stable, which was really cool.
I think also they said Go Shiozaki was part of the stable.
He is.
But because of what happens in the next match, Sweeney didn't manage him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was a solid match. The commentary kind of started talking more about Delirious asking Daisy Hayes out, which we'll get onto later on.
Yeah.
Instead of the match, and then they start fighting, and Sweeney, there's some heads up managerial play here, is asking the ref to check Delirious's mask. I had never seen that before from a manager. I was like, hey, referee, check the mask, check the mask.
What did he think would be in there?
He said it was loaded.
Oh.
I don't know what that means.
As if Delirious would load his mask.
Delirious doesn't know how to load his mask. Delirious is a crazy character.
Mm-hmm.
Another very good match to me. Chris Hero wins via the rolling elbow. The young knockout kid, as Dave Pizak said maybe like 3 times.
Yep.
Wins. I gave it 3.
3.25. A lot more mat work in this match. Kind of more the ROH style that I like to see. But I thought it was ultimately pretty fun. The Delirious character really playing into it exactly how you would want a character like that to play. So, yeah, I went 3.25.
And immediately after that, Larry Sweeney jumps in the ring and calls out Roderick Strong for being too dumb to turn down an offer from Sweet and Sour Inc., as the Briscoes just did. Mm-hmm. So interesting there. Maybe later on in this timeline, they face the team of like Chris Hero and Edwards.
Eddie Edwards, yeah.
And then Roderick Strong comes out. Hasn't aged a day.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some weird hairs on him, but apart from that, that's it.
Pretty much the same, yeah.
And not really what I expected. Not really sure what I expected from this kind of match. A Strong versus Edwards match for this time period that wasn't exactly this. Mat work, technical wrestling, the holds, the little bit of high flying, some striking as well. That's what I thought was going to happen.
It definitely feels like a developing version of Roderick Strong and Eddie Edwards.
Yeah.
Neither one of them really feel
Eddie
like the wrestlers.
Eddie especially.
Yeah, especially with Eddie, yeah.
And then it ends because Sweeney and Hero jump in the ring, And I forget what Sweeney does. I think he just lays down Hero and then lays down
Hero.
Strong.
So I think Sweeney tries to get involved, but Roddy gives him a stiff knee strike. And then Hero gets involved by hitting Roddy with the elbow or the forearm.
Hits him with the rolling elbow. The young knockout kid, I say, like the 5th time. Edwards wins if he hits a springboard backflip and with the interference. I gave it 2.
I gave it 2.5. I thought it was a solid match, but I really could have done without the interference. And like I said, it just really felt like guys who were finding their style.
Run this back in like 2016. You have a really good match.
Run it back tomorrow.
Yeah, that too. Up next is another interesting match because Bobby Dempsey and Larry Sweeney are still out there. However, Edwards and Hero leave.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get the Raw general manager, Chicago's very own, the suburban legend, Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce comes out with his robe, flanked by Sarah Del Rey and Shane Hagedorn.
Sarah Del Rey, is she still around? Because I feel like I've heard that name before.
I think she either is or she recently just retired. One of the two. She's definitely still around in some,
she was on the Indies
some capacity
for a long time, right?
Yeah, because they talk about Shimmer with Daisy Hayes coming up. So, and they're going to take on a stud from OVW in Brent Albright, who had some really cool entrance gear. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you thought about it. I really liked it.
That was solid. Yeah, that was cool.
However, sadly, the match was contested under NWA rules, which means we're getting that really, really dumb over the top of DQ rule.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of that.
This is 2008. Everything involving the NWA was really dumb.
Minus this match.
I mean, this match was pretty good. I just mean like the NWA as an organization.
I guess, yeah.
Was in a really, really low spot. Lower than they are now, or just as...
Probably lower.
Yeah.
So, Adam Pearce is on the attack. They start to scrap up. Brent Albright fights back, but then Shane Hagedorn pulls him to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes after him, so Adam Pearce tries to get a sneak attack in. And Brent ducks, and Adam Pearce just lays out Bobby Sweeney.
Yeah.
Not Bobby...
Dempsey.
He just lays him out. He takes a fantastic bump for him.
Mm-hmm.
Very surprised. And then Pearce pulls over the mat and goes for the pile driver, but a great counter gets Adam Pearce busted open.
Mm-hmm.
Albright finds a table with all the entrance gear on it. It looks like because the Briscoe stuff is still on there, and he just moves that, gets ready for a table. He never used the table. They get back in the ring, and then they cut to a beautiful pile driver. From Adam Pearce.
That was really solid. On the Gensweider pile driver scale, I think got to give that an 8.3.
I would love to see a 10 in pile driver on it from one of these days.
Probably a Bret Hart match. A Bret Hart pile driver is probably going to get close to a 10 every time.
I would see that. He got 2, and he's missing some more. Albright hits a fantastic move into an arm bar. Calls it the crowbar. He shanks it up to about 10, and that's when Adam Pearce says he quits. Mm-hmm. He quits, and Albright is your new NWA champion. I like this match. I gave it, I'm going to say, let's go with 3 3/4.
I gave it a 3.5. Way better than I was expecting.
I know.
Did not think Adam Pearce was that good. Who knows what ends up happening to Brent Albright after this, but I had not heard of him, so I did not think he would be very good.
He was really good in OVW. I think he's one of those like missed opportunities in WWE where he could have been something in there, but just couldn't.
Okay. And it wasn't like a technical wrestling match, but everything they did was done very technically well, if that makes sense. Like their suplexes were crisp. Like I said, it was a great pile driver. A lot of great submissions. And
ability-wise, they were very well. They're very skillful at what they do.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a pretty good match.
It's not flashy. It's not going to be a Matt barn burner. It's just going to be they're going to wrestle and they're going to do it well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a limit for like 3 3/4 for me.
Yeah.
So we cut to a Briscoe promo. Did you understand a single word they said?
Not really. No. Cannot recall.
So yeah, I didn't either. I understood like about 5 words. But Rhett Titus is there. He shows him something. I'm just going to assume it's his gear. that we'll see later on tonight, and
I didn't put that together. I was really confused by the whole thing.
Yeah, I saw him thinking happened, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
So let me get to our three-way dance between Austin Aries, Jimmy Jacobs, and his friend from Age of the Fall, the Necro Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
A very strange man he is. He comes to the ring with Jimmy Jacobs, not wearing shoes. Not wearing shoes in any rings is incredible.
Yeah.
That is something I would never ever do.
Exactly, yeah.
This match is under relaxed rules, whatever that means. And it starts with Jimmy Jacobs and Austin and Necro Butcher teaming up on Austin Aries. This is always going to happen. This was the least bloody I've ever seen Necro Butcher.
Okay.
And they start teaming each other. So they team up for most of the match. There's one spot where Jimmy accidentally hits Austin. Hits Necro. Necro gets pissed.
Well, before that, wasn't there the spot where Jimmy hits some sort of top rope move and Necro Butcher goes for the pin and Jimmy...
No, that's after.
That's after this?
After
okay,
yeah.
sorry.
So they do that.
In the order of my match.
And then Jimmy hits that top rope move. Necro goes for the pin. 1, 2. Jimmy breaks it up and yells at him. It's like, you are not your own man. You are my soldier. You listen to me and me only. And I'm like, oh, he's going to get his face rocked in. His face is going to get turned in by Necro Butcher. It doesn't. Necro's like, oh, you're right. My bad. Let's do that. So you team up. And they fight and they fight. There's stomps Necro Butcher, which look terrifying to take.
Mm-hmm.
And then Necro is put up in the ropes. And Austin Aries smacks him with a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And what does Austin Aries do? He floors himself and throws the chair to Jimmy Jacobs a la Eddie.
Yep, Viva la Raza.
That is some classic lying, cheating, and stealing move. And Necro turns around. He sees Jimmy with a chair, and Jimmy's pleading his case, but Necro's like, literally for a second, he punches the chair out of his hand and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
He beats him up a little bit, but he leaves.
Yeah.
Which, if you go and find our Halloween Havoc 97 review, where every heel left.
Yeah, it's just a little different, though.
A little different. This is more like a face turn happening.
Face turn happening. Because it's not like the thing where the heel tries to leave and get the count out, whatever, just keep their title, whatever. It's just a guy leaving, yeah.
And then Austin finds the camera and smirks into it, which I thought was really funny.
Mm-hmm. Find the hard cam.
Then Aries will hit some moves, but he hits a sweet brainbuster into a 450 splash that ends the match, gives him the win. I gave us a 4 for the storytelling. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a vehicle for that, and it really looked really well.
I gave it a 3. So we're off by a star here. I did right here. Great storytelling. Really love the storytelling. I just thought it was just kind of okay in the ring. You know what I mean? So I just kind of balanced it out to a 3. But it was like you said, it was very great storytelling. Kind of served as a different purpose of a match kind of thing.
Then we get into our intermission, which on the actual show they're gonna have the promos playing here. So we got a Daisy Hayes promo, but instead she gets interrupted by the Motor City Machine Guns and some track jackets, where they talk about how they're gonna fight Steen and Generico. Mm-hmm. Before that, they say the words, "How would you like to be the meat in a Motor City sandwich?"
I believe Chris Sabin said that.
Sabin says that.
Interesting question.
I know. I would agree. Yeah. Very interesting to say out of the blue. Shelly says, "Do you remember the time I slept in my parents' basement?" Then it goes on about interior decorating for bedspread.
Yeah.
And then when she leaves, he says the words that date this promo the most. MySpace me. And folks, that's our line of the night. MySpace me.
I think here's a good point to talk about it. This whole thing didn't age well.
No.
The storyline surrounding the only woman in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really awkward to watch.
And we'll get to the
didn't feel like a Motor City Machine Gun segment, really.
No,
like
didn't.
The way that I know them. Like I don't know. So
And we'll get to some more Daisy Hayes shenanigans later on.
MySpace me is incredible.
Where I will explain to you the future of the storyline.
Oh, I was hoping you would, because we're really seeing like the middle point of something.
Yeah, we really are.
And I don't have the context for the before or the after.
And then we cut to Daisy Hayes making her entrance, and who else but Delirious? No, other way around. Delirious comes out, and he asks for Daisy Hayes to come out, and she does. And what does Delirious do? He asks her out. Aww.
Delirious wearing a tie now, by the way.
A tie. He's looking very dapper.
Dapper.
And who else but Rhett Titus comes out?
Yeah. Very early Rhett Titus.
Very early Rhett Titus, looking like a real goof.
Yep.
And he says, "Oh, Delirious, she's this line, which horrible line, would never pass nowadays. He said that Daisy Hayes was used goods."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And not only that, he reveals his gear to be some Rick Rude esque. Daisy Hayes' face is airbrushed onto his butt. This was
okay. Explain to me where this goes.
Oh, I would love to. In December, in Southern Hostility, Daisy Hayes and somebody else reveal that Rhett Titus in storyline has been lying about Daisy Hayes the entire time because he's a virgin.
Okay.
Is that where you saw that going?
No, not at all. It makes sense, right? Obviously. Was this like, did somebody find like a storyline that Vince McMahon wrote and then threw in the trash, and then somebody from Ring of Honor picks it up and reads it?
It feels like it. This is the Carrie Silken was just kind of like, oh, what's this? Oh, a Vince McMahon idea. Well, let's just do it.
Yeah, I mean the Vince McMahon one, obviously Kane's the virgin.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, and
Triple H is Rhett Titus.
Yeah. So he went in a different direction with the Kane Triple H feud.
Yes.
Even worse direction.
Yes.
And somebody else took this and put Delirious and Rhett Titus into
it. And then Rhett Titus hits the Rick Rude taunt, which I thought was the best part of the whole promo. And he gets beat up. Thank God. And then if we couldn't have more of a 180, we have a random Pro Wrestling Noah match up next.
Yeah, the Pro Wrestling Noah showcase is next.
Naomichi Marufuji against Go Shiozaki.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid moves.
So if anybody was sad when we lost the Noah recording that they didn't get to hear us talk about Naomichi Marufuji, here we go.
Here we go. There you go. This was not as good as that match.
No, but it was hard hitting.
This was a Noah, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you match, and both Marufuji and Go Shiozaki pulled it off well.
Yeah, I really love the whole like gimmick of Go Shiozaki finding creative ways to do chops.
Oh, I like the chop slide the best, I think.
Yeah, the sliding chop.
The slide, like the soccer slide into the corner and just chops them in the throat. That was really good. I also like the Destino type move off the top rope into the floor. That was really good too. And as well, a curb stomp.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Marufuji hits a curb stomp.
And of course,
Tyler Black was taking notes.
I think he was. But Marufuji wins the match with the pole shift.
Before that, though, a lot of great near falls.
Oh, absolutely!
Had me on the edge of my seat.
This match was really done well. A lot of near falls. I think it was a very solid match. I gave it a 4.
4 1/4.
It's not as good as the match from the Noah show, but it's still one we should probably seek out.
Yeah, I think it was still a really solid match.
Yeah, speaking of Tyler Black,
second best match of the night for me.
Speaking of Tyler Black, guess who it is? It's Tyler Black, and he's cutting a promo about how
he has a lisp. Did you notice that?
Hey guys, it's Tyler Black, and Age of the Fall is falling apart.
I'm just gonna say, hats off to the people at WWE Performance Center, in the promo class, because Tyler Black not good in this promo.
Not a good promo. Dusty Rhodes saw him like, hey baby, get a good promo, baby, Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, and then now we just recently talked about a Seth Rollins CM Punk. For those of you who don't know, time to break the illusion, Seth Rollins is Tyler Black. And so we were just talking about how Seth Rollins held his own against not held his own, just performed just as well as CM Punk in a promo segment a couple weeks ago. So now to see the difference between that version of Tyler Black as a promo and the version of Seth Rollins we have now as a promo is just drastically different.
Then we get to the second to last match of the night, a star-filled match. El Generico.
Two guys who I would say were stars at the time versus two guys who are future stars.
Yes. I mean, even then, these guys were already big in the indies. El Generico and Kevin Steen take on the Motor City Machine Guns.
Excuse me. Yep.
Now, this was a match.
Great match.
Great match. I really liked it. I ran into the issue we have all the time on the show where the matches just take us out of the reviewer mode and into fan mode.
Yeah.
Where we just don't take notes.
Yeah.
This match was really good.
Yeah. I really liked the Steen Generico dynamic. Was really great. You could tell that the Machine Guns were a established tag team. Really, I mean, I know Steen Generico had been teaming, but they were the chemistry was off the charts already with Shelley and Sabin. One thing I really liked is that he does do his kind of flippy moves and some of the stuff we see today, but Kevin Steen had a little more powerhouse to him at this point.
Yeah, it was
in the way he wrestled.
He
doesn't look like he was that much bigger then than he is now. He was definitely a little bigger.
He was only a little bit, yeah.
But definitely worked a little bit more powerhouse. And then, of course, out of nowhere, hits a front flip leg drop, standing front flip leg drop.
To quote every scout about every white wide receiver ever, sneaky athletic.
Sneaky athletic from Kevin Steen, yeah. So I really like that. I thought Generico as a character was fun at this time before he really becomes just Sami Zayn in a mask.
Wait, no, sadly, El Generico passed away in his Tijuana orphanage many years ago.
Because Sami Zayn obviously very influenced by El Generico.
Okay. My mistake, yeah,
so
my mistake.
It's just kind of
And let's not see what the Motor City Machine Guns really fast. Let's not, because they were also really good in this match.
Yeah, you can see, what I saw in this, I was like, oh, this is where the Young Bucks got it.
Pretty much,
They watched this era Motor City Machine Guns, and that's why we get the Young Bucks.
Pretty much.
They were, this whole tag team match was so ahead of its time.
So what did you give it?
I give it 4.5 stars.
Okay, I would say around there. I'm going to say 4 and 4.25.
4.25. Yeah, I really thought it was ahead of its time. It felt like watching, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe we could recast it later if you wanted to recast that match. It'd be up to you, but it felt like watching a Young Bucks match from the Machine Gun side.
It kind of did, yeah. I can see that.
And then from, I don't know who you would put in the Steen Generico role, but that's really what it felt like. It was like, this kind of match in 10 years after it happens is considered the peak of a possible tag team match. I don't know what he gave it back then, if he even rated it, but Meltzer would have given this a 5 in 2017.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, a really good match.
And then we get to the main event of the evening. They'll become a little fast in this one, but this happens sometimes.
Plus, we got the categories. That might take some time.
Yeah. All right. So, Ring of Honor World Title match, the 4-way elimination match. Nigel McGuinness, the champion, walks in and takes on Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Tyler Black.
Yeah.
What a match.
A very not bald Claudio Castagnoli, which is kind of jarring to see.
Yes, and also a very not bald Nigel.
Yeah. And a young Danielson. Seth Rollins / Tyler Black kind of looks pretty much the same. Hasn't aged in 16 years.
Does not, no.
But yeah, it's an interesting look because, I mean, I'll go ahead and say, next week we're watching SummerSlam 2015 for our classic show, right? So it's going to be interesting to look at, Kevin Steen / Kevin Owens back then. He'll be on next week's card. I know Tyler Black / Seth Rollins is on the next week's card. I believe Claudio is as well. It's going to be interesting to see just kind of how these guys evolve. But they were already so good in 2008, weren't they?
They really were. All 4 of these people were.
I don't know. What all did you have on this match?
Just that it was sensational.
Yeah.
The fact that, first of all, this was the crowd was so in this match.
Yeah, a really Ring of Honor star, which, by the way, kind of interesting rules for the Elimination 4-way. it's not a tag team match, but only 2 guys are legal at a time until eventually that just kind of gets thrown out by the ref, and he just starts. I think it was Turner, and he just starts counting whatever pinfalls anyway. But it's supposed to be 2 guys are legal, and you tag in and out until someone's eliminated, and then 2 guys are legal, and there's a third person who can tag in, and then you get down to whatever. I don't remember the order they were. I believe it was. Oh, and then, like I said, it gets to a point where they're just kind of all 4 wrestling like a regular Fatal 4-Way, which I really liked.
Yeah.
I believe Claudio's out first. I think Danielson eliminates him, right? And then Claudio goes on a rampage, beats the hell out of Danielson. I think there's a chair involved. There's like a chair stomp thing that looked. He puts the chair on Danielson's head and just stomps on it and like stands on it.
It was brutal. And
then the way that commentary was kind of framing it, it felt like a Tyler Black like standout performance. Like it felt like a big moment for the Tyler Black character. He loses ultimately to Nigel. Nigel retains, but it was really good. My only gripe really is that the last bit when it's just Nigel and Tyler Black kind of dragged on. Felt like it went a little bit long. Like if it was a few, like 5 minutes shorter, it probably would have been a bit better, bit of a tighter match. But I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah, you know what? I liked it. I liked it a little bit more than I liked the last match. I'm going to give it 4.5.
Okay.
I think it was
So was this your match of the night?
It was, yes.
Okay.
So that brings us to our categories.
Yep. Best moment. What was the best singular moment of the show?
I want to say it was the Nigel win title after the match. Just retaining the title just because how he framed it in the beginning of how it is the toughest challenge they've had to face.
Yeah.
And as a heel champion going through your toughest challenge yet, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the finish to the NWA title match.
That's fair.
I really like the way they built to that and the way that finish played out. MVP of the night. Who gave the best performance on the night?
Tyler Black.
Tyler Black?
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of cheat and sort of give it to 2 people, but I'm going with the Motor City Machine Guns.
That's fair. I agree with that.
Yeah. So they were my MVPs of the night. Heat Check Award. Best performance in a short amount of time.
The Briscoes.
The Briscoes? I'm going to be honest. As odd as it was and as poorly at his age, Rhett Titus was really entertaining.
He was.
In the short amount of time
I'll give him that
he was on screen. I'm going to give it to Rhett Titus. So, yeah, I think that's where I'll go with. So I guess Apex Mountain. Is this Apex Mountain for Nigel McGuinness?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, it's certainly not the Apex for the other 3 guys in that match.
No, it's not. But for Nigel, I think it is.
I don't know. Is there anybody else that you would even consider? Is this Adam Pearce's Apex Mountain?
No.
As a wrestler?
I feel like it's going to be Brent Albright, sadly.
Brent Albright's Apex Mountain?
This might be Adam's, actually, too. I don't know.
I don't know about that one, yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting one because it's not really a major event for anybody. It's just kind of a Ring of Honor. We have Death Before Dishonor coming up this weekend. I think it might happen the night after this episode comes out. And so I just looked at Death Before Dishonor cards and picked one that I thought looked interesting. So it's not like there's a special big moment on this. What was the surprise of the show for you?
I'm going to say, I didn't look at the card beforehand, so I'm going to say the Marufuji Shiozaki match.
I'm going to go...
It just feels out of place in how well it was, how the crowd reacted to it as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the NWA title match.
That's
surprisingly
I like
a lot
that.
better than I expected. Recasting, we're going to do the 4-way or the tag team?
Let's do the 4-way.
Okay. So we have Nigel, Danielson, Tyler Black, and Claudio. So I guess let's talk about who this was. Nigel, what was his role in professional wrestling in 2008, from your estimation?
He was a top heel of an indie company. So I want to say, like, kind of not calling AEW an indie company.
No, you don't have to go to AEW.
I guess you're right.
I think it's Matt Cardona.
Yeah, you know it is.
Yeah, Nigel I like once you said indie company, it clicked. Like a lot of this version of Nigel feels Matt Cardona. For Danielson, who's a mat specialist indie upstart right now. I mean, I guess he's already sort of established, so maybe a sort of established indie guy that's a good mat wrestler. Or you could go to.
Give me.
I mean, we can take this anywhere. You can go to Noah. You can go to New Japan, AEW, Progress, Rev Pro, whatever.
Give me like a ZSJ.
That's what I was thinking. Because he's not quite. Because I feel like ZSJ has more to come.
Yeah, it's not
bigger
like, it's
moments.
Not on like this. It's kind of like in the same level as Danielson was now.
Mm-hmm. Who is the current Tyler Black? And why is it Nick Wayne?
Yeah. No.
Not Nick Wayne?
No. I'm going to go with Jordan Oliver.
Oh, okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. The other side of the
East West, yeah. Because I think Nick Wayne's already in the major company.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Oliver's not.
Okay.
That's why I think, well, Jordan, when he comes back.
Because at the time, like, Ring of Honor was the third biggest American wrestling promotion.
It was the biggest indie, but it was
there was quite a bit of space between it and TNA, and then a world of space between TNA and WWE.
Yeah.
So who's Claudio today? Who is I don't know, maybe a big guy on the indies?
I'm going to say Timothy Thatcher.
I was about to say Thatcher. I think we both thought of Thatcher at the same time.
Because, let me explain. It's kind of like a reverse of Claudio, because Claudio was from Europe, went to the States.
Mm-hmm.
Thatcher made his name in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why mine's going to be like that.
I like that. And it's a little bit different because this is a younger Claudio. Thatcher's a lot farther into his career right now. I like that. So the current version of this match is Matt Cardona versus Zack Sabre Jr., Jordan Oliver, Timothy Thatcher. Hey, Brett Lauderdale, book it. WrestleMania, Las Vegas. Let's see it happen. Double feature. If you were going to... Now, we could do the four-way again, or we could do the tag team match. What do you want a double feature?
Let's do a tag team match.
Okay. I mean, we talked about the Young Bucks a lot in that. Is there a Young Bucks match that you think would pair well?
I do, however, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna pair it with a Motor City Machine Guns match.
Okay.
Because I feel like nowadays they're kind of underrated for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But it does include the Young Bucks, so we're fine. From Ring of Honor All-Star Extravaganza, Motor City Machine Guns versus SCU versus the Young Bucks in Ladder War.
Okay, I like that. She says Motor City versus SCU versus the Young Bucks.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. What year was that from?
2016.
2016. Nothing from this is in the Wrestling Criterion Collection.
No.
That easily not.
Well, this is the minimum. Even if they could be considered, they'd have to be 5 stars.
Yeah. All right. Let's classic hot dog, classic handshake.
Sure. My classic.
Nothing off limits here. There's no specific reason I picked this show.
I'm going to give it to the main event then.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Generico versus the Machine Guns. I think easily. And then now on to our out of 10 rating for this show. Shane, I'll let you go first. I want to see what you think.
You know, it was all the matches were good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the shows we've done before, there's been like a stinker in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give it a 7.
Give it a 7. Here's my thing: is that all the matches were good. Nothing stands out crazily. Like I like the fact that I watched the show. Right, it's definitely a positive thing. But it's one of those shows that had it been lost to time, wouldn't have been a big deal.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing on this that really stands out hugely. And it just... A lot of the vibe felt kind of mid. I'm going to give it a 5.5. I think it's the lowest rating I've given since we've restarted, but still just a... Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of an okay show for me. Well, didn't really love it, but... All right, you want to take us out?
All right, yeah, that is a bit of a shorter preview of a classic show, but we have other ones that are longer on this one. So
I imagine we'll probably go a little bit longer next week.
Probably. So with that, just
well, speaking of next week.
Oh, next week, yes. Next week we're going to be doing another Jayden episode, so he'll take the reins. SummerSlam 2015.
Okay. Yep.
A very fun show, very exciting show. We got Cena Lesnar,
No, it's Cena Rollins.
Lesnar Taker.
Yeah, Cena Lesnar was the year before.
Little Jon Stewart action in there too.
Yep.
So that's gonna be a little fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if let's just keep on going and enjoy wrestling.